What's going on, guys? And welcome back to Bet Against Me. It's Masters Week. Thanks for listening to our show. Christian's out sick today, but we got a guest coming later in the show, my friend Mike. We're going to talk about the Masters a little bit. Today I'm going to wrap up the college basketball season. Terrible game Monday night. And we're going to talk about the show moving forward. And then we're going to talk about the Masters with Mike. You can see the live video of this podcast on our YouTube channel by searching Bet Against Me Podcast on YouTube. If you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to click that annotation and subscribe to us on iTunes. Additionally, our show is now on the podcast hub Stitcher. Stitcher's radio on demand. Download the free app today. Listen anytime, anywhere. Stitcher is a free app that lets you listen to all your favorite shows, plus discover 65,000 plus news, entertainments, and sports shows like ours. It's available on iOS, Android, Nook, iPad, and in over 4 million card dashboards. No downloading, no syncing, no wasted memory. Download it for free today at Stitcher.com or in the App Store. Also, rating our show on Stitcher or iTunes would really help us out. You can also keep up with our podcast at Bet Against Radio on Twitter. And you can find all of the links to these different things that I just shouted out on our Twitter as well. So, the first thing we want to talk about is the college basketball season. Christian is not here to gloat, but I'm going to gloat for him. He went 27-17 overall on the show in our picks. Which is pretty impressive. I only went 22-22-2. He actually went 27-17-2, I'm sorry. And then I went 22-22-2. And so, yeah, that's not bad. I broke even money-wise on the show. He actually had a win rate of about 61%, which is great. Let's hope he continues that into the baseball season, which is what we'll be moving into next. We're going to start doing, I think the NBA has 11 days left in the season. We're going to be picking up a little bit more heavily with the NBA playoffs and then obviously some baseball stuff. So basically from this point forward, we'll be talking about the MLB and the NBA playoffs for a considerable amount of time, plus golf, plus NASCAR if Christian ever starts wanting to do NASCAR betting going forward. But today we're going to talk about the Masters, and next time we'll hopefully get an episode out before UFC 210, which is this weekend. Daniel Cormier defends his title. Hopefully we'll have Richard on to do that as well as Christian. So since college basketball season's all wrapped up, we're going to turn over to golf. College basketball season may be ending, but the most exciting part of most golf fans' season is this week with the Masters. We're going to welcome back in our golf guy, Mike, who's got a little video as well. We both got cameras, so that should be good. The Masters is undoubtedly most people's favorite golf tournament. It's probably my second favorite. I actually like the U.S. Open a little bit better because I like watching professionals struggle to shoot par, because it reminds me of myself, just on a much easier course. But the Masters is a lot of things for a lot of people. We saw a great Masters finish last year with Jordan Spieth dunking 18 balls into the water on 12 and shooting a 92, or whatever happened.
It sure felt like that.
Danny Willett came from literally out of nowhere. The fringe of a lot of people's consciousness was Danny Willett. Into a thriving role, which he has not since returned. Dustin Johnson has won 3 out of his last 3 starts, which is incredible. He's the odds-on favorite, followed by Rory McIlroy, who has choked a Masters himself. Jordan Spieth follows just after. Hideki Matsuyama is 4th in odds, and he was hot as fire earlier this year. Has since cooled off, but he hasn't been playing that many events as of late. Ricky Fowler is a birdie machine right now. He and Jason Day, whose mother has been ailing, he'll be back, are both 5th in the odds. Rookie John Rahm is 6th, and former U.S. Open winner and gold medalist Justin Rose is 6th with Phil Mickelson, or 7th, I'm sorry, in the odds. So, Mike, let's do it this way. Let's do let's give it kind of a flavor before we get to the who will win. Who makes the most birdies this week?
Oh man. I mean that's gonna be really tough for me. I have to pick either Dustin Johnson or Jordan Spieth. Number one, I think Jordan Spieth just knows the course really well, and that's become really evident as he's been, I think, either tied for second or won the last 3 years, if my memory serves me correctly. The other guy that's on fire is Dustin Johnson. So it's got to be between those two, and I'm going to flip a coin here and just say it's going to be Dustin Johnson. I think he's just unbeatable right now.
Right now, Jordan Spieth I think if you were just talking about total birdies, I think that's an interesting pick.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say Justin Thomas. He's fifth in scoring average on tour right now. He choked away a really good opportunity to get a win earlier this season. But I would say Justin Thomas maybe for the most birdies, if not Jordan Spieth or a name like Dustin Johnson that we know. Who's the best golfer for the course that doesn't win the tournament? Who's the what I would call the best horse but not the winning horse?
For me, it's got to be Phil Mickelson. He's the guy that's won 3. But last year he actually, did he get cut last year? I think he did.
I believe he missed the cut.
So Phil Mickelson is that guy for me because, I love the guy and he knows the course extremely well. He's going to put up some good numbers, I really believe. But at the end of the day, he's not going to have what it takes to win. Not with the field that's going to be there this year.
Let's see. Who is the person that should do good but will miss the cut?
I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but it's going to be Ricky Fowler. It's going to be Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler? Don't do that to me.
Where is Ricky Fowler on this list? I gotta look down here for a second.
Ricky Fowler is plus 1,800. Mike says no go on betting Ricky.
Yeah, it's just he's a solid golfer and he shows up at these big events, but I just don't think he's been a factor. I think I read a statistic that he wasn't a factor in his last 8 not Masters but major starts.
Yes.
He hasn't been showing up in the clutch.
That was after 4 straight top 5 finishes in majors though. His last 2016 wasn't the best year for Ricky, but 2015 was by all accounts, one of the best years maybe ever.
True, and he's having a good year.
I believe it was 14. I think you're right. 15 and 16 were both bad years. 14 was top 5
when
in all
he won,
4.
right?
Top 5 in all 4.
Yeah, top 5 in all 4.
He won 3 events.
He had a great year, 2014. And it's very possible he has a good year this year. He's on track for that, I think. And I should have known better.
Leading the tour in scoring average right now.
I should have known better to go after Ricky Fowler with you because I already know that you know everything.
I just know the advanced stats on that particular golfer, but I think if I was having to pick somebody that I thought was going to do good, that doesn't, I think Jason Day is an interesting pick. I stayed away from him in my picks this week in our golf pool, simply because I don't know where his head's at, and it could I think it's either one of 2 ways. Either he's going to miss the cut, and that's understandable with his mother's sickness, or he's going to win the tournament, because sports does that sometimes. Sometimes sports gives us miraculous moments that are emotional and sentimental, and only sports can produce. It's like they're like a movie sometimes. But I think
you're absolutely right. I think that Jason Day, he did get some good news. Was it today or yesterday? He got some good news that his mother does not need further chemo. So that's really positive, and I think maybe he rides that good news into this weekend and plays really well, because he knows that at least in the current time he doesn't have to be having his mom on his mind throughout the entire tournament, at least in a negative way. He can go in the tournament trying to win it, and as he said, it would be such an amazing feeling that he could win the tournament for his mom. That would be outstanding.
That would be a great sports story, but I just wonder maybe where his head's at. Augusta's such a tough course. I think I saw Ian Poulter one time say that the average scratch golfer would shoot in the 90s, mid-90s at Augusta. It's such a tough course when you can't really devote, not to take away from Jason Day, but when you can't really devote a lot of time to it, I just wonder how effective he'll be, considering that where his mind has been for the past month has not been preparing for Augusta. It's been, possibly being with his mother for the last month or two of his life. And I wonder if I don't know if they, like I said, it goes one or two ways. Either this new good news, carefree attitude, gonna win one for her, either is just too much, or and he misses a cut, and he plays poorly, or maybe like you said, he could ride that momentum to victory.
There's one other thing though that we have to touch on with Jason Day, and that's his back. It's been an issue for him for quite some time, and he doesn't seem to be getting any better. Do you have any new information on that, or?
When he withdrew from the WGC, he specifically said that his back was not the issue, and the reason he told everybody that his mom was ailing was because he didn't want everyone to speculate about his back. But I don't think that it's fully healed 100%, but I guess I'd say the only person that would really know that is him. We'll see how he plays. As you can see from Tiger Woods not being here for the 19th time in a row. Back injuries are not something that is fun to play golf with, nor heal quickly. So if I was any golfer right now and I was having back issues on the course, look at Tiger Woods. Like, sit out a year.
Sit out a year.
Because he's been dealing with this for what feels like 4 to 5 years now. And it's maybe when he first started feeling those back pinches, if he would have sat out a year, he'd be looking to pass Jack in this major. So I don't know. I would be really careful with that if I was a golfer, and just seeing what has happened to Tiger Woods in the last 3 to 4 years.
I would too. Richard, your roommate, my cousin, were talking about this the other day, and Richard had said that Tiger Woods is still trying to hit it, with the big boys, Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm, and bigger guys like that, and just by trying to compete with the young guns that are going to be at this tournament, or not at this tournament, but in golf generally, he can't be helping his back out any by trying to drive the ball over 300 yards like he used to.
Yeah. It's always interesting the first thing he says, when not to be derailed by Tiger talk, because I think that golf is plenty interesting without Tiger Woods.
Sure.
But I would root for Tiger if he was back in the field. I think it's telling that every time that he gets a little bit better, the first thing he's talking about is how much distance he's gained or how far he's hitting the ball. I think that
is such a good point.
Yeah. I think that's telling to where his mind's at. Kind of, he's a prideful he's a prideful guy. I mean, he wants to hit it with Dustin. He wants to hit it out there as far as DJ. It was actually really interesting. I watched Ricky Fowler's interview, Masters interview yesterday night, and he couldn't have had a more different attitude. It was like, I know I'm 155 pounds, I'm 5'9", I can't get it out there with Dustin. That's fine. I've got to hit my long irons well. I know that. That's what I practice. That's what I want to hear. If Tiger comes back in a year or 3 years or never, but if he does come back, that's what I want to hear him say. I don't want to hear him say, I'm driving the ball 310 yards. I want to hear him say, I'm hitting my 4 and 5 and 6 irons really well, because that's what he's going to have to do to compete if he ever gets back.
I'm hitting 285, and I'm hitting my long irons very accurately.
Yeah, which is hard for the. That's how a lot of guys like Ricky Fowler. I mean, I know he can drive it out there. His tour average is over 300 yards, but at the same time, it's not like he said. Ricky's got to stay in the gym, and Justin Thomas and all those little guys. They have to really stay on it just so they can stay within throwing distance of Dustin Johnson. So it's like that's all you really need, is to stay within throwing distance and hit your long irons as good as Dustin hits his mid irons.
Thank goodness for them that golf is not a game of who can drive the longest. Oh, yeah.
Anybody can play golf, and especially this course. I mean, the Masters has given us, in the last 10 years, it's given us Bubba Watson twice, Zach Johnson, who's one of the shortest hitters on tour. It's given us Angel Cabrera, who is in his mid 40s. It's given us Danny Willett, who is in, I think Danny is like 30.
Yeah.
I'd say 29 right now. So it's given us Danny Willett, who's 28, Jordan Spieth, who is 21. Anybody can win at Augusta, and I mean anybody.
Yeah.
But so I guess I guess now let's go ahead and turn to what I started. Who is your dark horse? Everybody has a dark horse. I'm talking about guys that are over 100 to 1, like, or at least 80 to 1. Who are your dark horses?
At least 80 to 1. Well, I mean, the name that really sticks out to me sitting at 85 to 1 right now is Zach Johnson. And the reason I say that is because, when he competed with Dustin Johnson, me and my dad actually put a bet on that one. And he actually came within one hole of him. So
yep.
that was pretty impressive. To be able to compete with the world number one and kind of undisputedly number one right now is very impressive. And I hope he's able to carry that into the Masters and have a good showing.
I have a couple interesting. One is just on feel. I feel that Martin Kaymer hasn't came out of nowhere and won a major in a little while, and that's generally how he rolls. He likes to come out of nowhere and win major tournaments. I joke with Richard that I feel like sometimes he just runs out of money, and then he's like, all right, I need to go win another major and get some, and then he has enough money, and he just doesn't care for the next 2 or 3 years. It's been a while since we've seen Martin Kaymer play good. He played pretty well in the, I believe that was the Cadillac. No, it was WGC Mexico.
Yeah. You almost said Doral.
Yeah, I did. Mexico. He played pretty good in that tournament, I believe. He was, I think he finished 4th or 5th, not too far back. So he's had a decent, he hasn't been playing a whole lot of golf, especially in America, but I think he's at least had a decent showing. So I like him. He's 22nd right now on the European Tour in scoring average. So, it's about time for him to come out of nowhere. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up winning a major this year, because
if there was a time, it would be now.
And it's awesome value. He is plus 15,000, so 150 to 1. I also, back-to-back master champions. That happens a lot. Danny Willett is 125 to 1 right now on most of the internet sites. Lastly, I've got a few dark horses here. Let's see. Another person that I really like down towards the bottom is Jimmy Walker. Won the last major that we played, and he's 100 to 1. So I think that's pretty good value. I know he's never really won here, or I don't think that he's competed that heavily. Russell Henley's making a bunch of birdies right now, 66 to 1. I'd stay away from Stinson. I'd stay away from Hatton. Those are just stay away froms that are in that mid range.
How about Charlie Hoffman? I've always
he plays good here, doesn't he?
He certainly does. It's kind of interesting. What was it? They said, I think it was people from what state? Oh, I think I've got that wrong. But in any case, Charlie Hoffman, he definitely plays well here. I end up always picking him because he is one of those picks that you get a lot of bang for your buck. He doesn't cost much in the fantasy leagues, and yet he performs here pretty consistently and very well. He's, especially in the first couple of days, you'll see him pop up on the leaderboard, and I really expect that to happen again, even though something tells me, like in the past, that he's not going to carry Saturday and Sunday.
So before we get to the winners, let's do a couple of these prop bets. I think these are interesting with the featured groups or the better groups. Thursday, first round. Who shoots the best round on Thursday? We'll do the first group of Matsuyama, Fowler, and Knox. Russell Knox.
Ricky Fowler.
I am going to take Ricky Fowler as well.
Matsuyama doesn't seem to be doing so well, and I don't know too much about Russell Knox at the moment, but
he's making a bunch of birdies. He's making a bunch of birdies, and he is, I believe, like in the top 6 in strokes gained putting on tour right now. He's also making a ton of bogeys too.
Okay.
I'm going to take Fowler in that one. Fowler's more of a first-round player. He likes to get out, especially in majors. He's been recent, even when he shoots bad. Honestly, he's played a good first 9 holes in most of the majors. He's been in the lead early when he can get out. Spieth, Kaymer, Fitzpatrick, round 1. Probably will be the feature group on Masters Live, if I had to guess.
Yeah, your guy Keimer's in there, so maybe he'll show up. But I think you gotta give it to Spieth on this one, for
Yep.
sure. I mean, he just seems.
Spieth is at even odds. Keimer plus 250 if you want to take that risk that Keimer plays well. Keimer's never been much of a first round player in his career, though. It's interesting how different guys I consider first round players and other guys that I consider late movers.
Totally. And
Keimer,
Jordan Spieth to me seems to be.
Yeah, Spieth is
He
a
seems
first
to be a
round
first
kind of
round
player.
guy, and he seems to be a fourth round guy. It's just he's
Yeah.
all around,
Yeah,
Just
I think the same for Ricky. I think normally his first round and his last rounds are normally, as long as he's not in the lead, are normally his best rounds. Every now and then he'll shoot a good score on Saturday, but he's pretty weak in the middle. Let's see, we've got Snedeker, Rose, Day. Day would be the favorite, plus 135. I think Snedeker plus 250 is interesting there. But who you got? Snedeker, Rose, Day, first round.
This is a toss-up for me between Justin Rose and Jason Day, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If Jason Day's has his mind right and he's not suffering from his back, then I think he beats the other two guys. If not, he doesn't come mentally ready for the tournament for obvious reasons. Then it's going to be Justin Rose, hands down.
Yep, Justin Rose finished second 2 years ago to Jordan Spieth, albeit 4 strokes behind. But Justin Rose has never won here, but he's been in contention. He's been kind of close. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and Justin Rose has shown.
Wouldn't be surprised if he makes a little run as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Let's see if there's any more. I think. Another guy I meant to say. I just saw his name. Tani Hara, who played really well in the match play. I think he ended up finishing third in the WGC match play. He is at some. I mean, anybody that can finish third in the WGC match play can win the Masters. It's always, in my opinion, one of the most wide open tournaments, wide open majors of the year. There's not many people that can win a U.S. Open because it's so long and you've got to keep the ball in the fairway and you have to putt well. But there's a bunch of guys that can win the Masters, and it's on any given day.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if they keep it on the fairway.
Yeah. Tani Hara is plus 25,000, so that's 250 to 1. So that's interesting for somebody that just finished third in a WGC.
Sure.
So let's go to the top of the odds, though, and it doesn't have to be from the top of the odds, but who wins this Masters and why? Who you got?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what, Jackson. I'm gonna give Lee Corso a run for his money in his picks. Are
you gonna put on a hat right now?
Oh man, well I wish
I should have went and got my Ricky Fowler hat.
Imagine I had a Spanish flag right now. I'm not American, but I have a Spanish flag today.
Not a European Union flag.
No, this is all about Jon Rahm. This 4-day tournament, the Masters, is going to be about Jon Rahm. He's going to be the rookie that wins it, and the first time since I think I mentioned 1979 earlier.
Rookies are due.
He's been like on an unbelievable tear. He has the crowd behind him. Just an unbelievably fun golfer to watch. And so, not only do I think he's fun to root for, I think he actually has a chance to win. And that would be absolutely incredible. It would kind of like resonate with Jordan Spieth and his approach to the Masters, and that would just be really cool to watch. It would be a lot of fun.
Jon Rahm is plus 2,500. That is 25 to 1 odds, which has to be one of the better odds that a Masters rookie has ever gotten. So I've got some advanced stats. I went back and looked, and I'm trying to look for some trends. And I noticed that most of the champions in the last 10 years, since they lengthened the course, 11 years now, have ended up coincidentally finishing in the top 11 of scoring average for the PGA Tour the year that they won, or the European Tour. Danny Willett was 5th last year, Jordan Spieth, Bubba Watson, Adam Scott, Bubba Watson, Charles Schwartzel, Phil Mickelson, and Zach Johnson, Phil Mickelson, all in the years that they won, finished in the top 11 of scoring average.
Wow.
Only Angel Cabrera, who was 40-something when he won, and Trevor Immelman, who came out of nowhere, those are hard to predict, were finished the year below 11th in scoring average. So I said, let's see. Let's look at the scoring average. And who has the potential to finish in the top 11 out of the people that are in the top 11? The number one person in the scoring average right now, Ricky Fowler. And it's not even particularly close. He's got the whole field by 0.2 of a stroke. And he's got third place, Jordan Spieth, by half a stroke over 26 rounds. But I see Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Tyrrell Hatton's up there, don't think he's ready. Justin Thomas, don't think he's ready. Mark Leishman, he's played well at the Masters before, but I don't think he's ready. I don't think he stays there either. Bill Haas, ready, but I don't think he's won a major. Jon Rahm, I don't think he's ready myself. But Jordan Spieth proved that you don't have to necessarily be ready. Sergio Garcia is 9th.
You can always show up.
Yeah, exactly. Sergio Garcia is 9th. He'll probably finish in the top 10, as well as Hideki Matsuyama is 11th and Dustin Johnson 10th. So if I was having to pick, I'm going to take Ricky. I put a bet on Ricky very early. When I got him at plus 3,300, plus 1,800 this week. But if I was not being biased, I would still take Ricky. But if you still perceive that as being biased, I think this is his year. I think this is the year he was just tearing it up last week. I almost think he didn't win on purpose because he knows how good he's playing how good he's playing. You don't want to win the week before the Masters.
I agree with everything you said up until that point.
But I almost do. It's like, do you want to win the week before the Masters? Like, of all weeks to shoot 8 under 3 times, like, don't pick the week before the Masters. Save some birdies, son.
Yeah, say.
But if I was not
karma that you've been building up, at the Honda and.
Yeah, I really like Hideki Matsuyama, 11th in scoring average right now. He's gonna finish in the top 10. I think he was playing really hot earlier this season, and he's been kind of laying low. I think he knew that his swing was on. He's figured it out.
Are you sure that he hasn't been? It's not that he hasn't been laying low, but he hasn't been playing very well recently. I'm looking at his finishes.
He's been laying
missed
low.
A cut. He's tied for 25th, tied for 45th.
I think he's been laying low. But he won like 4 events in a row. I mean, he's if not Dustin Johnson, then Matsuyama, in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay.
Last category we'll do, if not anybody we've named, if you had to pick a first-time major winner. You're picking Rahm still because you're on Rahm. I'm on Fowler because I'm on Fowler. Yep. But if it's not Rahm or Fowler, who is the first-time major winner that might come out of this Augusta? Because let's see, we've had 4 in a row now, I think, first-time major winners. So if that trend continues, and we'll take Fowler and Rahm out of the mix.
That is interesting, yeah.
I'm gonna give you a little second to ponder that. I'm gonna take Sergio Garcia, 9th in scoring average. How many times has he been here? Maybe he doesn't play particularly well at Augusta, but he's playing good this year. I mean, scoring average is good. His short game is improved. All Sergio Garcia needs is one good week of putting. If he could just putt good for 1 week, he'll win a major. And eventually, you would think, I mean, he's such a good ball striker. Eventually, he's going to putt good for 1 week.
Yeah, and we've seen in the past that he can carry a Sunday, He can be in the lead and he can stay in the lead. He has had some times, and we've discussed this over the years, that, he's had the propensity to be a choke artist sometimes. But on the other hand, he more often than not, he's there in contention on Sundays. So he's an unbelievably good golfer, and I agree, he can get it together. Certainly.
Sergio Garcia is 3rd in strokes gained tee to green. Ricky Fowler is 4th. Jon Rahm is 2nd. And he is 5th in greens in regulation, which is a key stat at Augusta. You got to hit the greens, got to putt well. If he can just put 1 good week of putting together.
Sure. Now I'm looking up Matt Kuchar, though. I'm looking up to see if he's ever won a major.
No,
I can't remember.
Not. He has not.
Then he's definitely going to be my pick because he's been playing pretty well. What's up?
He won a bronze medal. That's the closest he's ever got to golfing lore.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I'm looking at this, and besides this last weekend where it doesn't look like he made the cut, he's been playing pretty well. He stayed in that in the last 4 tournaments before that. He was tied for 30th at the Valspar. He was tied for 22nd. World Golf Classic tied for 20th, and then tied for 22nd. So
he's had a good. He's due for a good one. He's due for a good one or a dud. I agree.
Yeah. He's my guy. Yeah.
Matt Kuchar is ranked 57th in strokes gained putting and about 80th in strokes gained tee to green. Let's see. Kuchar is. I just saw him on the list. I'm gonna have to search it. Kuchar is plus 8,000, 80 to 1.
Now, where are you getting your odds
for
from?
the win? I get my odds for the podcast from Bovada. Not to plug any particular betting site, but you can also Vegas Insiders. I get VegasInsiders.com. Sometimes I get my odds from there. Bovada is not to plug their site because I'm obviously not paid to do that, but they seem to have the most generous odds in golf. Sometimes in basketball they can be a little stingy with, I think all the betting sites are like that where they give they won't get, if it's an even odds thing, they'll give like negative 115 or something like that. So pretty much you're always losing money. If you bet 10, you hardly ever win back 10. If you're betting on, they got to be a pretty significant underdog. But on golf, the golf odds the futures and stuff are a little bit better than some of the other betting sites and Vegas area stuff. So you're on Rahm, I'm on Fowler. Let's hope that Fowler wins. Man, I want to see him win a major. I think I told somebody, I think it was Richard 2 years ago. I said that Fowler, he was, it was when he was in contention for the 4 straight majors. I said, if he ends up winning today, you're going to have to get out of my room because I'm going to have to cry in here.
And you can't be seeing this.
Yeah, I can't be seen fanboying that hard, but it's a problem, but I'm dealing with it, and maybe he'll win me one this week and win us both a little bit of money. All right, thanks, Mike.
Of course. Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure, just like last time, and looking forward to next time.
Yeah, we'll do it for the players.
Thank you.
For sure.
Awesome.
So that's going to be it for us this time, guys. Next time we're going to talk about UFC 210 with Richard, plus some MLB and NBA. We got the NBA playoffs coming up, like I had mentioned. Be sure to check us out on Stitcher. We're pretty excited about that. Apparently a lot of podcasts use that as a way to allow people to have more mobility with the podcast. You don't have to download. It's a little bit easier. But you can always follow us as well. Subscribe to us on iTunes and subscribe and watch the live video on YouTube. Be sure to drop us a follow on Twitter, and all those links are much more easily accessible there. So for Christian, who is sick, I'm Jackson, and this has been Bet Against Me.